All right. We are good to go. We are live. Okay, well, making the transition. Boom. Oi, fellow comrades! It is Squidtard here, and welcome back to another episode of the Vol Star Podcast. Well, this is an unfamiliar feeling. This is the first episode we've done up to this point where we've had to suffer from an L. Of course, I did not do a show following the Florida game, so that's why now is the first time we're doing a show post a loss. We were supposed to do it yet last night, but unfortunately that kind of crashed through. And if it weren't for all this stuff, I wouldn't have thought about maybe just making the show permanently on a Monday. But I guess I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot we gotta discuss today. Thankfully, my boys Lucas Sharp and Julio, we're gonna give our discussion on the Alabama game and a whole lot more. So, fellas, not a fun week. Not a fun weekend for us.
Not at all.
Tennessee
Not at all.
loses to Alabama in a way that I wish I would not have to say so. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I would have rather Tennessee got blown out and the game be over in the second quarter, so then we could move on and I wouldn't have to even bring my hopes up. But Tennessee got my hopes up, and I learned very, very quick that trash talking in a halftime video is a very stupid idea. And so I ended up eating my words as Alabama immediately following a 20-7 deficit climbed all the way back, scored 27 unanswered points, and knocked out. Basically gave the knockout punch to Tennessee, which probably means even if we do win out, we are eliminated from the playoffs and possibly SEC contention. So very, very rough loss for the Vols, but a lot of things went wrong in that game, and there's a lot that we need to discuss. So you guys have any really big thoughts on that game? I know you have a lot.
Well, I do think Joe Milton he played good enough to win. I did say that for Tennessee to win this game, Joe Milton would have to play his would have to play his butt off, and I think he did. He actually played pretty well in this game, but second half, we just couldn't get it together. Offensive play calling just went downhill. We couldn't even run the ball. Like, we were able to somewhat run the ball in the first half. Second half, not even close. We could not run the ball to save our lives, which is really odd considering our run game has been really good this year. Defense actually basically gave up in the second half. Even after that amazing performance in the first half, they basically just gave up in the second half. I don't know what we did during halftime to just completely collapse like that. I've never seen a collapse like that as a Tennessee fan ever, and that's weird to say considering I've had to deal with the Butch Jones years and the Pruitt years. This is literally the worst collapse I've seen as a Tennessee fan.
I mean, I don't know. I think the Oklahoma game with Baker Mayfield might be a worse collapse.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
This is probably second, but at least with Butch Jones, I was almost expecting it because he would always blow huge leads. But Heupel hasn't really blown that many leads. I don't think this is his first lead he's blown. So I mean,
I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this right now have seen my live stream of the Tennessee Alabama game and just see my slow descent into madness. The worst part about that night was that I drank about maybe six, if I can recall, of those wine coolers, the Seagrams. They don't really have a lot of alcohol in them, but I thought that if I drank enough of them that it would get the job done. No. By the end of the night, I was just sober and pissed, and I had a lot to say about that night.
So, you didn't feel at least a little bit drunk?
No, not even close. So I'm going to have to, we're going to go through, okay, there are a lot of comments that I want to kind of uncover from not just my post-game video, but from my live streams. I'll show you guys, but there are just a crap ton of comments regarding that loss, and I want to go through some of them because the post-game video got like 4.2 thousand views, 91 comments, and some of them are gold, but you have the usual No one loves you. Hashtag go dogs. But yeah. So I'll show some. Actually, since I can't show them to you guys on here, I'll just read them out for y'all. There's some good ones, but I guess we'll start from the top and then just kind of go down to the bottom, or however long it takes me to get pissed off enough to where I stop looking at them. Yeah. All right, let me roll up these comments because there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them that we need to go over. Okay. This should be it. Just want to make sure I'm right on that. Whoop. Yeah, okay, we're good. All right. So, we got some good ones, of course. The top one here is actually, as a Bama fan, I appreciate your passion for your team. I understand your frustration. Good luck for the rest of the season. So, just so you guys were aware, there are decent Bama fans out there. Here, let me do this. Let me share the screen for y'all so that y'all can see what I'm talking about. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do that, but looks like I was wrong. Okay. All right. Yeah, there are a lot of good ones on here. A lot of coaching mistakes this game. Joe wasn't the biggest problem this time, but let's be honest, this loss wouldn't be so bad if we had taken care of business in Gainesville. Tennessee needs to work on keeping momentum going into the second half. This is absolutely something we have serious problems with. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. The Gainesville comment really hits home because, well, if we hadn't lost in Florida, we still would have had everything to play for. Everything would have been in front of us, you know? But with that Florida loss, that throws us out of a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, I did expect to go backwards a little bit this year just because I know some people, were high on Joe. And I feel like Joe definitely had, potential, but it's like he's just not consistent enough, to do it. Like, maybe, he can go to a good NFL team or whatever, and someone, if they got a good enough QB coach, maybe they can, I guess, get him a sports psychologist so he can definitely be more consistent.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Let's see. That was plain pitiful yesterday. Most of Milton's passes were off. Coaching was terrible. It's hard to be a Vols fan. That statement definitely hits home. That last one, at least. Bama, let y'all get your hopes up only to rip y'all's hearts. And look who the username is. Bulldog2233. That guy's definitely an Alabama fan, as we know.
Shocker.
Big Alabama fan right there.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for not saying anything about the refs because as a Bama fan, I can say for sure they were making up for a lot. Yeah. Well, I have a lot to say about that, so stay tuned for that. And that's also wrong, by the way, making up for last year. I think you're just salty about that still. Watching the video after the video he made at halftime is priceless. There's my boy Ramajama Taylor. Props to on the Crow. GG and great content this week. Yeah. Let's see. Getting old when the ship starts sinking and Heupel doesn't do any in-game adjustments. Saban would have benched Milton and taken over play calling if Bama started losing. Well, our second string quarterback is a true freshman, and though Dabo did it, I don't think Saban would have started. Actually, who am I kidding? He started a true freshman in the national championship.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, he started Tua in the. Well, he didn't start Tua in the national championship, but he started with Jalen Hurts and then benched Hurts for Tua.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also, I think there's a lot of difference between doing it. Like, I understand the national championship is a bigger stage, but at least then it's like a neutral field. It's an entirely different thing to throw your freshman QB out there in the second half after you've blown, like a 13-point lead, to put him out there into a hostile environment like Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Let's see. Playing Bama for anything less than 60 minutes doesn't work. Believe me, I know. Go Dogs. Yeah, no. That's, that is true. I'll give them that. That's definitely true. Don't be mad, bro. We'll be national champions soon, but I understand you have every right to be angry, so am I. Well, that's a bold thing to say. We'll be national champions soon. We're talking soon as like a year, 5 years, 10 years? Like, what's, yeah. I don't know. I do not know. Came back down to reality in those two words, which I will not say on here. Yeah, no. There are a lot of great comments here. Those memory brain cells are the hardest to kill. Shout out to my boy Rec Talk. Yeah, I talked to him last night about the game, And I told him that I tried to drink so much that that the memory of this game would just completely be wiped. And he told me that, he told me the exact same thing he said here. So, no surprise there. Yeah, so that's just some of the comments. So, of course, you guys can feel free to go and look at all those if you want to. There are a lot of great ones. But, of course, you do have some of the dummies in there as well. That's
Georgia fans.
Yeah. It's not, it's when you go through those comments and see, the same kind of 1998 and the same regurgitated type of trash talk that you see, you'll figure out real quick why they're there. When you click on their channel and look at their top subscriber and who they're subscribed to, the first person you'll find out real quick why that happened. Mr. I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Uncle Blue. There you go. Figure that one.
Is it Uncle Loser?
Yeah, man.
Oh god.
Is he gonna take that? I don't know.
Yeah, that's literally. Yeah, yeah. I don't think Uncle Loser deserves the right name pronunciation.
Bam. Well,
I haven't watched him forever. I know I used to watch him a little bit, but I haven't watched him in like God knows how long, like 3 years now.
Well, I do think the post game videos and everything like that, the your season's over set videos he does on Sunday. Those are pretty good, and I enjoy watching those. It's just the Tennessee segments I kind of have to skip over, not because I don't like hearing trash talk. It's because the Tennessee trash talk is just kind of the same regurgitated word vomit that I've heard for years and years now. So
it's kind of like the Alabama thing when they compare us to a pumpkin or a garbage truck workers convention. Like, damn, can you get a new joke, please?
That's why SEC Shorts is so successful, because every week they don't use the same jokes.
Yeah,
they don't hit the low hanging fruit. They actually have something new to run with every single week. So
yeah, not gonna lie, some of the ones that they make fun of Tennessee, I actually kind of laugh.
They're hilarious. Yeah, no, even the ones where they target mainly Tennessee, those are great because all that stuff is true and all of it's relevant. It's not like they're using the same regurgitated word vomit that we've heard 7 times already. It's like the jokes are funny, and it's a funny thing to listen to rather than it just being annoying and repetitive. And you get the idea. Anyway, let's move on, fellas.
Yeah, it's also the reason why I don't make the same Alabama joke.
Exactly. So anyway, we got to move on here. So I wanted to kind of, before we move on to the rest of weekend, I kind of wanted to take a segment to talk about the officiating from Saturday. There's been a lot of talk on it, a lot of different stuff. Of course you have the ones, and this is like a lot of things with Tennessee fans, just like how either A, the sky is falling, or B, even if we lose 6 games, we'll be completely fine. It's a very, very weird thing going on with Tennessee fans, and they're exactly the same this time. There's no gray area. You have the people, which, it's never the ref's fault. It's always Joe Milton's fault. And then you have the people where everything's the ref's fault, and if they actually called the game correctly, Tennessee would win by 20 points. It's not, there's no gray area, and I'm here to be that gray area. So there's something, of course, the officiating, we can all agree on this, was absolutely abysmal. Yes. Absolutely atrocious. Probably one of the worst officiated games I ever had to watch in college football history.
Yes.
Atrocious. Terribly missed calls. The stupid fair catch that wasn't a fair catch at the start of the third quarter. Just the continued missed holding calls. The face mask on Tyler Barron that they just completely missed. And then they got really petty towards the end of the game with the pass interference calls. And just all Tennessee had to do was just be there and exist for them to throw the flag for them. It got dumber and dumber as the game progressed. And towards the end of it, I eventually just got fed up with it and said,
there was also one play where the Alabama player clearly held Tyler Barron. He literally had him in a freaking chokehold, and I don't know how that didn't get called.
And wasn't that the touchdown pass?
Yeah, that was the opening touchdown pass.
Right.
So, I mean, here's the thing. I understand that some people want to complain about the refs. And like I said, now maybe two of those could have went differently. Like the two that stick out to me the most was of course Tyler Barron being put in a fucking chokehold. Sorry to cuss, but him being practically choked out
Mm-hmm.
on the touchdown pass. That was probably the most egregious one because like that's like the most blatant holding call of all time. And then of course the other one was the I don't know how they call a fair catch nowadays, but I didn't think that was a fair catch signal. Same thing happened in the Iowa game. They gave Minnesota the game. So it wasn't just Tennessee that kind of got hosed over by a phantom play call. Which the other thing is, I don't understand why it matters what the person on the other side cares for a fair catch. If it's nowhere near you, I don't think it should really count. Like, why does it matter what the other one signals if it's nowhere near him?
Right.
Like, I've just never understood that.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
you make a
man.
very good point there. Yeah.
Because it was nowhere near his area. Like, I don't. It ain't like he called for a fake fair catch and then ran it to the end zone or something.
Yeah, right.
It was nowhere near him. But like I said, even with those two calls, like say we got what I think we got it out to the 30. Had we started on the 30, maybe we could have scored. And it might have been like 27-34, but I just still think we would have lost the game just to how piss poor we played in the second
Well,
half.
here's the thing. I do believe that, and now I'm gonna kind of pleasure both sides here the best way I can. I do believe that the officiating, while it didn't like screw Tennessee and we lost the game because the officiating was terrible and the refs just like the people who say the refs just hate Tennessee, that's not true. The refs just love Alabama. None of that is true. I do believe though that they definitely stalled out some of Tennessee's drives and ruin that. But I will say this for a fact, and y'all can back me up on this if you want to, but the refs weren't the reason that Tennessee failed to score a single point all throughout the second half. The refs weren't the reason Bama came back 20-7 and scored 27 unanswered points on Tennessee. That was entirely on coaching. The refs weren't the reason that we went for it in our own backfield on a 4th and 1, which was a run up the middle that everyone in there saw. I don't know, we had to have ran up the middle at least 70% of our of every single offensive play we did. At least 70 of them had to be us running it up the middle because that's all we did on some of those drives. Just run up the middle, run up the middle, run
Oh,
up the middle.
also, I got a question. Since when have people forgot how to do a QB sneak? Why
Yeah.
is everyone now dropping back in the shotgun on 4th and 1 and 4th and inches?
Yes.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mhm.
Yes. Personally, call me crazy. I had no problem going for it on one of the 4th and 1s. Personally, I love the aggressiveness, but call better plays. I mean,
Yeah.
can't you just QB sneak it? Joe Milton is literally built like a Mack truck. Just QB sneak it.
Also, I do have a big problem with that. The defense was doing their job all night long, shutting down Jalen Milroe. There was barely any plays where he had somebody open. We were in the backfield a lot of the time. We had James Pierce Jr. doing what he does. And when, if I'm the defense, a much more favorable situation for me is if I'm playing in Bama's 20 rather than playing in our own 40-yard line. There's a big difference right there, and it showed because it makes the margin for error so much less, and it showed that at least 2 times you basically gave Bama 10 points by being as aggressive as you were. And a lot of coaches are doing that now. Dan Lanning's doing it at Oregon, just consistently going for it on 4th down when you don't need to, and it definitely played a part in Tennessee losing to Alabama because when you get aggressive, I understand getting aggressive, and in some cases, I actually agree with that. If it's a 4th and 1 at the 30-yard line of Alabama, and you want to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of kicking a field goal, that would be a great idea. You don't want to waste those drives against Bama, but going for it in 4th and 1 is a very dumb idea. And to go along with what Lucas said, I also think the play calling on those 4th downs was blatantly Stupid. Just blatantly the dumbest things I've ever seen, because if you run up the middle every single play and it stalls out and it barely gets anything, then what the hell you think is going to happen when you go for it on 4th and 1 and the Bama defense knows they only need 1 yard? What do you think's going to happen?
Also, one thing I want to add on this, I can't remember what game it was. I want to think it was during the Virginia game where we brought out the package where we had, was it Elijah Simmons and Amari Thomas, or it was two of the defensive linemen. We put either Amari Thomas and Elijah Simmons, or Elijah Simmons and Norman Lott out there for 4th and inches.
Mm-hmm.
To practically just push Joe Milton, since they're allowing that now. It used to be illegal, but now they're just allowing that. And I've just never understood why we just didn't do that in the 4th and inches one. Like, I just don't understand why that's not like the standard play.
Right. Well, to sum this all up, of course the refs were terrible on Saturday. The officiating was god-awful, but we were the ones that got thrown into that situation. And the truth of the matter is, as long as this continues, which it's going to continue, stuff like this is going to continue to happen. So we best just, in order to avoid situations like this, we need to make sure that the refs aren't able to decide things like that by not choking as hard as we did against Alabama. And if this blatant, just stupid play calling continues to happen against Kentucky and Missouri and Georgia and whoever we play down the road, you can expect these exact same results to happen. Because even if we start out strong in the first quarter or the first 1.5 quarters, if we stall out on as many offensive drives as we did against Alabama, against a team like Mizzou or Georgia, chances are we're bound to see this exact same result happen. So hopefully that doesn't happen. We got lucky against teams like Texas A&M and South Carolina, where the defense just completely bailed us out and saved us. But this can't continue. This just can't. So we got to get this together. And if benching Milton is the thing we got to do, because I've been hearing it already, that the reason the offense got so complacent, and I knew this all season long, but now people are saying it, the reason why that people, and specifically our offense, is getting as complacent as it is, because the coaches don't trust Joe Milton. And every time I hear that, I wonder, because every time somebody says that, they're like, oh, the coaches just need to trust Joe Milton. They're not going to. They've made it very apparent that they do not trust Joe Milton, and rather than doing anything about it or starting another quarterback, whether it's Nico Amalovia or Gaston Moore or somebody else, they aren't making any changes. And good coaches know how to make adjustments so that they can win football games. And I'm not seeing it out of Joey Hazel. And it's not, it's Heupel's gonna have to take some of this blame too, but Heupel, the stuff going on with Joey Hazel, this is a serious problem, and so far I'm not very impressed with our offensive coordinator. So stuff needs to get fixed immediately.
So here's the things that I don't really know, like if it's Joey, Joey Halsey or Joe Milton or or Heupel, or it's just maybe just a mixture of all of them. But it's like, if you don't trust your quarterback, why are you putting him out there?
Yes, exactly.
It's the exact same reason Pruitt stuck with Garantano for as long as he did, and that's the most irritating part about it.
Because he looks good in practice.
Yeah, exactly. He looks good in practice. And if they don't trust Joe, then what makes you think they trust Nico or Gaston Moore to go out there and do it? They just don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it, is that, like, it's like, I understand, like, maybe Nico looks like shit in practice. I don't know. I'm not there. But here's the thing. I don't care what he looks like in practice. If he could, throw it for only 5 yards, barely complete a 5-yard slant route. If he can, complete all his passes in the game, I don't give a shit.
Right.
The worst part is that why I think Milton's doing as bad as he is in these games. Okay, compare it to a quarterback like Jaden Daniels at LSU. Okay, he, has and what? I'll compare it to Peyton too. And any good quarterback knows how to do this. you have plan A, which is the playbook that's set for you. You adjust at that playbook and you go with that play. If there's a receiver not open that you are hoping is open, you switch to plan B, which is another receiver downfield, or you go to a slant route, or plan C, you run out of the pocket so that you don't get sacked, or you do something else with it. There's plenty of options to do when it comes to being the quarterback and stepping out of the pocket, and you have plenty of options to do. If the defense is coming at you, which they're going to, what you got to do is you got to throw the ball to an open receiver, find somebody who's open, and if there's nobody open, run out of the pocket and get you some yardage. I haven't seen any of that from Joe. I've seen Joe Milton do exactly what the defense or our offensive coordinator wants him to do, which is either throw the screen or hand it off to one of our running backs up the middle so that they can get a loss of 2 yards. It's become so stale to the point that I'm really starting to question whether or not this coaching staff knows what they're doing, specifically our offensive coordinator, because the play calling is getting extremely stale. And I think Joe knows, and I think they're scared to let Joe make a mistake. They don't trust Joe Milton. And I think Joe knows that too, which is why he's so scared to throw the ball too, because he feels like he's in a situation to where if he makes another mistake, that they're going to throw him out of the game and put in a new quarterback. The quarterback's confidence is at a severe low, and the coaches don't trust him, and everybody on the field knows it. And at this point, the coaches have to make a decision. Either they have to trust Joe and go with the exact same offense that they've been wanting to run that they know can be successful, or they just have to switch to a brand new quarterback. But sitting back, laying on yourself, and putting a finger up your butthole trying to fish out hemorrhoids isn't going to do you any good. So I don't know what they're doing, but it needs to change. Otherwise, we're in for a few more losses. That's what I'm going to say about that, and that's what I'm going to say about the officiating, fellas. We're already it's already 8:40.
Yeah, we should probably move on to a new segment.
Right.
Like I said, I feel like we've kind of rehashed the points, but like I said, it's kind of like beating a dead horse at this point since we're more than halfway through the season now, and it's like here's the thing. I think we'll beat Kentucky. Like usually, I would say we would beat Kentucky. I'm definitely less confident than I usually am for a Kentucky game, but I'm still pretty confident because I don't know what it is, but we just always seem to pull one out versus them.
Mm-hmm.
The games that scare me is, of course, just other than Georgia, is Missouri since it's away.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I would say, with Heupel that we would beat the hell out of Missouri, but Missouri actually looks good. They got good receivers. Their quarterback's playing well, and their defense, is not that bad. But I think we probably have a better defense. But it's like, with our offense, it's like really doesn't matter how good our defense is.
Right. All right. Well, fellas, we got to go ahead and move on. It's already 8:41. So yeah, sorry to go on that for so long, but that needed to be said by somebody. So
yeah.
All right, well, I want to see what's going on in the comments real quick. Hudson Dean says, "I was there Saturday. The refs suck, but what would have helped was punching back at Bama in the second half instead of laying down." Yeah, completely agree with that one. That is definitely true. All right, so some of the things that I want to talk about, we haven't even gotten over to this point yet, but basketball season is coming along pretty nicely. We saw the first poll, the preseason poll, and looks like the Tennessee Vols are coming in ranked number 9 in the nation. So,
and they are currently the favorites to win the SEC according to the media. So hopefully they do that.
Right.
I think coming into the season we definitely are the best team.
Definitely.
Santiago Vescovi's back. Josiah Jordan James is back. Sakai Ziegler. Jonas Adu. You also get Freddie Delone, who's a redshirt freshman. You finally get him off the bench, which I've heard a lot of good things about him. So yeah, man, I'm excited for this basketball team. Honestly, I know fans say this every year, but on paper, this might honestly be the best team that Rick Barnes has had at Tennessee. But am I saying it's going to be their best team? Well, I kind of am because I said it, but I mean, I don't know. I just feel good about this team for some weird reason. But we just need to finally get over the hump, and I'd honestly be fine with if we made the Elite Eight this year. I'd be fine with that. Just get over the Sweet 16 hump. That's all I want.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Barnes. It's like he knows how to like recruit for the most part. I think he struggles a little bit recruiting bigs, but other than that, I feel like he's practically done everything like you've done at Tennessee. And I know some people are gonna be like, oh, he hasn't got you to, your Final Four yet or anything like that. But I mean, a lot of people forget it's really hard to get to a Final Four. Like that's why, like coaches like Coach K and stuff got paid so long, and why they kept their jobs so long is because they were, held to such a high standard. And here's the thing, Rick Barnes, I feel like we should probably keep him for the most part, unless like he completely falls off and the wheels come off. I feel like we should probably keep him until he retires. I don't know how long he's going to coach, much more because I know he's pretty old and, he might want to spend
Yeah.
time with his grandkids and stuff like that. But I just feel like we should probably keep him until he retires, considering he's probably not going to coach much longer. And I trust Danny White to hire someone
Yeah.
that can maybe take us to the next level after that.
Yeah. And also to add on to the basketball thing, I'm sorry for interrupting you. Uh, but I just wanted to say that this Tennessee team, they have basically everything that you want. They have the shooters with Santiago Vescovi and Zakai Ziegler. They have, of course, they're going to have the defense. Rick Barnes is known for having really good defenses in basketball. You also got the rebounders. You got Toby Awaka, who's been rebounding amazingly when he's on the floor. I think he's gonna be really good this upcoming year. And Jonas Adu, hopefully he can. I'm pretty sure he's a pretty solid rebounder too. So, but yeah, you got the shooters, you got the defenders because Zakai Ziegler is also a really good defender. He's like led the country in steals last season. I think so, or at least close to it. But yeah, man, you got everything on that team right now.
And also, I want to say one last thing before I guess we get off basketball. If I had to compare Rick Barnes to someone because I don't know like who I would compare him to basketball wise, but since I know more about college football, I would probably compare him to someone like Mark Richt, where Rick couldn't get over the hump, and he stabilized the Georgia program from the disaster that it was in the '90s when it and he found Mark Richt came in there in the late '90s, early 2000s, and resurrected that program, and stabilized them out, and then they finally hired someone that could get them over the hump, and I feel like Rick Barnes could do that for basketball because I feel like he's already recruited at a level we haven't really seen. Probably the only person you could argue that recruited better than him was Pearl, but that was only for like a year or two because finally when the recruiting got hot, that was whenever he had to leave because of the allegations and stuff like that. So I'm optimistic about this team, but it's like with Rick Barnes, I always have that thing in the back of my mind that's like, don't get too excited.
Yeah. Can't disagree with that one. All right, well, yeah, and of course, made a little discussion on the baseball team as well. Got to talk about that real quick. Some good things going along with that. Of course, they played in an exhibition match against Virginia Tech, and they came out on the winning end, I believe. Correct?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
they won 8-6.
All right. Well, a good start. I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about the baseball team as well. You guys think either one of them is going to make it to, between the basketball and the baseball team, you guys think either of them is going to make it to like national championship contention?
Baseball team. I put my money on the baseball team.
That's fair.
Oh yeah, I'd probably put a baseball team. I
Because
mean,
they got a lot
'cause,
closer last year.
well, we've been to Omaha 2 out of 3 years, and I
Yeah,
mean I know
two
the
times
one.
out of the last 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. All right, well, we will have plenty more time to talk about both of those things once those seasons actually come along, especially once college football season comes to a close. But, of course, let's get back to the college football talk. Crazy, crazy week 8. I know I said that about last week as well, but a lot of things happened last week. Of course, As we all know, I actually picked Penn State to beat Ohio State, and turns out that was the wrong pick because Penn State lost 20-12. Juilo looked completely lost. It just seems to me that Penn State's just never going to win one of these big games.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I think that moves James Franklin to 1-9 versus Ohio State,
Ain't that something?
Dang.
and it's like 3-17 or 3-19 versus Michigan and Ohio State combined.
That's crazy.
Dang.
It's something ridiculous like that.
Man. Don't matter how good Penn State gets, they will not be on Ohio State's or Michigan's level.
Now here's one thing I will say. I feel like their defense played well, and I understand. Like, here's the other thing: Drew Aller is a freshman, and I understand he played bad, but he's a freshman. He's a baby. You can't put all that pressure on him in the fucking horseshoe. You just can't expect like freshmen. Like, not many freshmen are going to be able to step up in that big of an environment.
No, that's fair. That is definitely fair. I just thought things are going to play out a little bit differently for Driller, but guess I was wrong on that. Ohio State didn't really look all that good either. Kyle McCord has had his few minutes, but he still had nearly 300 yards passing, so I think Marvin Harrison was kind of a big part in that. But, yeah, Ohio State stays undefeated. Florida State stays undefeated. Washington and Oklahoma both stay undefeated, but survive some really big scares. Washington late last night only won by a touchdown, 15-7 over Arizona State, and then Oklahoma had UCF knew what they were doing. Could have been in a very bad position. They only won by 2, 31-29. So both those teams very fortunate to, I think, stay where they are.
Remember what I told y'all about UCF, where I said I thought the game would be close?
Yep.
I actually picked UCF, and I was so close.
I don't think I picked UCF. Maybe someone can correct me. I think I picked Oklahoma, but I did say it was going to be close because I said this is what Gus Malzahn does. I said it wouldn't surprise me if he beat them, but I didn't think they would beat them. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I did predict them. I forget. But I think I just said that it would be close.
Yeah. So, Texas and Oregon had their scares too. Texas, they won 31-24 over Houston. Oregon won 38-24 over Washington State. Now, this is where things get tough. Oh my gosh, imagine being a Tar Heel fan right now. North Carolina was undefeated before this game, and they lose at home
10.
to Virginia. The Virginia team that only won one single game this year, has not won a conference game, has not won a Power 5 game, and they go on the road and knock off a top 10 North Carolina at home.
I don't know.
Crazy.
How does that even happen? Was North Carolina feeling too confident about the game, thinking that it was going to be too easy?
Must have. College football is a crazy sport, though. I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much.
Here's the thing, though. They practically had a cakewalk to the ACC championship / almost a guaranteed playoff spot.
Yep.
If they could literally just get past those last couple games. I don't think they had to play Florida State.
Nope.
The only team they had to play with a pulse was Duke. Like, literally, that's all you had to do was show up to the game. What the hell?
I mean, technically, North Carolina could still make the playoffs because they only have one loss. But let's be honest, they're not making it.
Well, yeah, they also have they played Duke at home, and then they got to go on the road against Clemson, who did also lose on Saturday.
But yeah, even though they're still not making the playoffs, I guess you still have to keep them in the playoff race because they only have the one loss.
Oh, by the way, Clemson is 5-5 in their last 10 and 7-6 in their last 13.
Oh, and Lucas, I guess we got to apologize to you. It seems you were right about Utah. You thought that they were going to win mainly just because they're USC's daddy. And turns out you were right, and they are actually USC's daddy at this point. Once you beat a team at home, on the road, and in a neutral site, all within a year, you are USC's daddy. So therefore,
wait, did I predict USC? I thought I predicted Utah.
He was the only one to pick Utah. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
The Utes, baby.
Yeah, I guess so.
I couldn't remember who I picked. Because maybe I just thought Caleb Williams would finally show up. Maybe I was doing wrong about that.
That was crazy.
Yeah, like I
But what?
said, I think I just picked USC to win because I think they were the home team. But heck, I didn't want them to win anyway.
But Utah in that win, they did have to take a sacrifice for that win because Cam Rising is now out for the rest of the year.
That is some, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I picked USC because of Cam Rising being out. That's what it was, or supposed to be out. That's why I picked him. I couldn't remember because I was like, I was going crazy because I couldn't remember why I picked him.
All right, well, enough about last week. Let's talk about this week. So a lot of big matchups well, at least there are some big matchups. You guys want to go through some of these games and pick them out like we did last week?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. Well, let's start off with this one. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Nobody really cares about this one except for us, but UTEP, as we know, is a playoff team. They're sitting at 2-6 right now. They're going on the road to play one of the only schools that has yet to receive a win at all, Sam Houston. Sam Houston is 0-7, and UTEP is playing them. This is actually a Conference USA game. I didn't know if you guys knew that or not, but
yeah, and what's crazy is that Sam Houston is favored. Like, if Sam Houston wants to get their first win, it's got to be this week.
Oh my gosh!
Last week they were so close to winning, and they just couldn't pull it off. If Sam Houston wants to get their first win, it has to be this week.
We'll see if they can pull it off.
Feel bad for him. Fun fact: one of the people I host Twitter Spaces with, Hookem, he actually, I think, played football at Sam Houston State, so he's been kind of depressed a little bit.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him for that. Well, I got to ride with UTEP because UTEP's a playoff team, sir.
You know what? Give me Sam Houston State to get their first win.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take Sam Houston State because I just want them to get a win.
That's fair. I can't blame you for that. All right, moving on to the Saturday slate. Number 4, Florida State going on the road against Wake Forest. Florida State, a 20-point favorite. Who do y'all think's coming out on top in that one?
I'll take Florida State. I just feel like Wake Forest is. I mean, I think Wake Forest is definitely better than what some people think. But it's just I just think Florida State's got too much talent.
All right. You know what? Give me the upset. Give me Wake Forest. Just kidding. I'm taking Florida State.
Yeah.
I'm not that dumb. I'm not that dumb. Even though I did pick.
All right, well, on to the next one. Undefeated Oklahoma going on the road to play in Lawrence. The Kansas Jayhawks sitting at 5-2 right now. By this point in the season, this is where Kansas kind of started to fall apart. Well, Oklahoma's coming in as a 9.5-point favorite. Who do y'all think's winning this one?
I'll take Oklahoma. I'll just take Oklahoma. I think they'll probably win by like 10 points around like what the spread is.
By transitive property, Kansas wins this game because Kansas blew out UCF and UCF nearly beat Oklahoma. So
yeah,
but we don't go by that.
But Boomer. That's all I gotta say. Boomer.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was closer than what some people think because I think Lance Leipold's a good coach.
Yeah, y'all. Hey, real quick, y'all discuss that. I will be right back. Okay. Yeah. Y'all make a quick discussion on that, and I will. Here's what I'll do. Okay. So, yeah, y'all just kind of discuss on that game real quick, and I'll be back momentarily. Just give me a second.
Yeah. Talking about the Oklahoma.
Oh, he's going in the closet. Oh no, I think he might be doing something bad.
Yeah. Okay. What was he was wanting to talk about? Was it the Oklahoma Kansas game?
Yeah, I think Oklahoma wins. As much as I'd like to see Kansas win, I think Oklahoma wins. Oh, I think I know what he might be doing. I think he's going to this closet to change it to his Kansas shirt.
Oh, he has a Kansas shirt? What the hell?
Yeah, he has a Kansas shirt because, he keeps saying that Kansas is a playoff team.
Oh, all right. I know. There was one
But yeah, here he comes. I knew it. I knew he was gonna come out in the Kansas shirt. I had a feeling.
Why do you have a Kansas shirt?
Kansas is a playoff team, sir. Give me the Jayhawks to beat Oklahoma. There you go.
Oh,
There you go. Now, did y'all have a feeling I was getting ready to do that? Or
Yeah.
no.
As soon as he went in the closet, I was like, "Oh no, he's in there to do something bad or something." And then I was like, "Oh no, he's gonna go get the Kansas shirt."
Yeah, Kansas is a playoff team, sir. So, yeah, give me the Jayhawks. I actually picked Kansas to beat Oklahoma in the offseason, and just for the sake of my pick'ems, I'm going to stick with my pick and say Kansas upsets Oklahoma. That would be huge, and I think that's exactly what happened. So, give me Kansas and the Jayhawks.
Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if Leipold's a good coach. I hope it does happen, but I'm still picking Oklahoma
All right.
because I think they got a little bit too much talent at the moment.
Yeah. Should we even cover this one? South Carolina and Texas A&M. South Carolina coming in as a 14-point underdog against Jimbo Fisher. God, both of these coaches need this win so bad.
Especially Shane
Oh
Beamer.
my gosh,
I would say mid off, but that would be
That'd be too
credit.
generous.
Yeah, too much credit.
That'd be too generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a little too generous.
Good grief. Yeah, who wins this one?
I'm gonna go with. Is it?
What-
I'm pretty sure it's at A&M,
Yep.
and plus I think A&M's the better team, so I'm gonna go A&M.
Yeah, give me A&M.
All right, yeah.
If it's at A&M, I'll take the home team.
It is. It's at A&M. That's man.
Is Shane Beamer gonna be in crutches? Because I heard he broke his leg.
He's gonna be sitting on that stool like Derek Dooley was.
I know someone suggested that to the South Carolina fans to get him a stool and posted a picture of Derek Dooley.
Mm-hmm. That is exactly what they should do. All right, let's move on here. I kind of want to scroll down, just kind of. Oh, here we go. Georgia and Florida, the cocktail party. Number one, Georgia and Florida, who's not ranked. Georgia's coming in as a 14.5-point favorite. Who do y'all think's winning?
Give me Georgia.
Give me Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia's rolls.
Yeah, give me Mickey Mouse. Yeah, no reason to think they
the,
don't
the,
win.
the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Starring Kirby Smart.
Oh yeah, you know it. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Okay, on to the next one. Oregon and Utah. I didn't even realize they were playing this week, but this is a huge game right here. Not just in rankings, but also in the Pac-12. These are two teams that are definitely both fighting for that spot in the Pac-12 championship, and it's at Utah. Oregon coming in as a touchdown favorite. Oregon right now I do think is the better team, but this will be very interesting to see how this plays out. Who y'all going with?
This is a hard one. Oh God, this is hard because I could easily see Dan Lanning do some dumb bullshit where he goes for it on like his own 30, and it ends up costing Oregon the game. But then I could also see Utah's offense stalling out.
And plus, Cam Rising is out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, and this is just a hard one. Screw it. I'll take Oregon by a little bit, but I'm not too confident about this.
I don't know, man. I don't feel like you can really count out the Muss, aka the mighty Utah student section.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a hater of Utah, as some people might call me, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just so weird. This is a hard game to pick.
I agree with you on that. You got a pick for it?
I'll take Oregon.
Yeah, I'll. Even though it's hard to pick against Utah, especially at home with the mighty Utah student section, I'm gonna take Oregon.
Well, yeah. The one thing I have to say for this is Bo Nix. He's out there. He's having fun. This is his year. I won't be surprised if he's a dark horse for the Heisman. Give me the Oregon Ducks to win this game. All right. top 20 ACC matchup, Duke and Louisville. Louisville coming in as
Wait,
a 4-point favorite.
wait. Speaking of Heisman, did y'all see who the odds-on favorite is to win it according to some books now?
Ain't it Michael Penix or is it JJ McCarthy?
J.J. McCarthy.
That's not surprising considering how well they've played. But I mean, I think it should be Penix, but I guess you know.
Well, I mean, he had a horrible game against
Right.
Arizona. They didn't even score an offensive touchdown. So.
Michigan has definitely looked like the most complete team. I will say.
Or wait,
that.
no, it was Arizona. It was Arizona State, I think. Sorry, Arizona State, I think.
Yeah. All right.
And then it's what, Pittsburgh, Notre Dame.
Yeah. All right. Well, Duke and Louisville. Who do y'all think's coming out on top in this one?
I'm going Louisville. Duke hasn't been surprising me lately, especially. I'm pretty sure Riley Leonard's out too. So yeah, give me Louisville.
If Riley Leonard's out, give me Louisville.
I'm picking Louisville as well. I think it'll be close because I do like Duke's defense. I just don't think they'll score enough points in that matchup. Okay.
Yeah. I think
one.
what's his name, Mike Elko, just needs a couple more years, and I think Duke will be actually probably ACC contender because I don't think Clemson's fell off. I feel like the only people standing in their way now is really Florida State. I know some people might say Miami, but I just don't have faith in Mario Cristobal to not choke a game he shouldn't.
All right. Well, Ohio State versus Wisconsin. Who do y'all? That's. Okay, I don't really think that's all that interesting. To me, I imagine that Ohio State's going to roll in this one, but it is worth noting because Wisconsin right now is still competing for that spot in the Big Ten championship.
Ohio State, more than likely.
Yeah, Ohio State wins and wins big.
That's fair. Yeah.
I will say I do think Air Force wins against Colorado State.
Oh. Yeah, I guess
Air Force is undefeated.
That would be surprising.
Air Force is undefeated still, so that's why I mentioned that.
That would not be surprising. Okay, well.
Hey, you're not going to talk about the amazing game between Vanderbilt and Ole Miss?
Yeah, as we all know, 6-1 Vanderbilt's winning that game. We're almost out of time, so we don't even have enough time to troll Vanderbilt today, but we'll have plenty of time next week because they are playing Ole Miss. Okay, Screw you and your stupid.
I would love to watch Kiffin lose to Vanderbilt. You know how hilarious that would be?
Oh my! There's no. Don't even dream of that scenario. Vanderbilt ain't beating nobody.
I mean, I know, but I would just love to see that.
All right, well, fellas, it's time. So let's preview this Tennessee-Kentucky matchup. You wouldn't think they would, but yeah, Tennessee and Kentucky right now currently both share the exact same record, both 5-2 overall, 2-2 in the SEC. So this is a huge game right here, not just in the sense of, whichever team wins this game is bowl eligible, kind of has everything in front of them. But the way both of these things have played out and the way both of the schedules look, we're talking about SEC contentions here as well. So it's very important that Tennessee gets back on the road and wins this game. They're traveling into Lexington. Last time, of course, Tennessee beat Kentucky in Lexington. Heupel's 0-1 in there, or 1-0, excuse me. But yeah, Heupel has a very good track record against Kentucky. We'll see if it holds out in this matchup. Kentucky's had a really good time running the ball. Their quarterback, Tony Robinson, really like him, I think, or Ray Davis, excuse me. Robinson's kind of the backup player, but Ray Davis, I really like him. I think he's a pretty good running back. But is he going to be able to run on this Tennessee defensive line? That's very hard to tell. Kentucky's on a 2-game losing streak, lost to Georgia and Missouri back-to-back weeks. Now they're going up against Tennessee, but they've had a bye week to rest up and prepare for this matchup. Tennessee's coming in as a 3.5-point favorite. This is a 7 o'clock kickoff in Kroger Field. Well, I'll go ahead and let you guys talk about this matchup.
So one thing I will say about this, I'm gonna pick us against Kentucky almost always, unless, like I said, because I've just seen us beat them every year of my life, except for 2 or 3 years of my life.
Right.
And that was relatively recently, but also another reason is because Mark Stoops, I don't know what it is, but Kentucky fans, even some Kentucky fans have admitted this. He does not know what to do on a bye week, it seems like. Because he's got a horrible record on a bye week. I think they said he's only won like 2 games off a bye week ever since
Wow.
he's been there.
Ain't that something?
So it was something like that. I can't remember. I know it was some ridiculous, like he's like 2-9 or something like that off a bye.
2-9. Good grief.
It was something like that. However long he's been there, I can't
I'm gonna
remember.
have to talk about that stat in my preview I do on Thursday.
I think that's what it is. You might can check him, but I'm pretty sure it's some ridiculous. I know he has a
I
horrible
know
record
they
off
were.
the
I'm
bye.
pretty sure they were on a bye hitting going on the road to play Tennessee last year too. So, I don't know. I don't know. Look,
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I'm saying. A lot of the time they face us off a bye, so that might be why their record's so bad, just
right,
because they've had a pretty bad record
right.
against
Yeah,
us.
that's a good point. Lucas, you got any take on this one?
I mean, well, to be honest, this game doesn't really scare me that much. The only thing that really scares me is Ray Davis, but then again, I think our run defense will shut him down. I think Vols will win easily.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The problem that I've had with Leary is not that he's not talented or that stuff like that. It's just he has such a long history of injury and everything, and I still don't feel like his shoulder is completely healed. Like he just doesn't look comfortable in the pocket as long as you get pressure on him. And I feel like as long as we can get pressure on him, like just consistently, and force him and to make you know um, bad decisions by rushing the passer, I feel like we'll be fine. I mean, it's kind of like a generic take, but I just feel like that's just kind of the key to the games.
Right, that's fair.
And then also just kind of forcing them to be one dimensional.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I agree. That's my take for it. So real quick before we wrap this thing up, what do you guys say the final score is going to be in this matchup?
Let's see. I'll put. Let's see. I'll put 28. Tennessee 28. Kentucky 24.
I'll go Tennessee. I'll go Tennessee. I'll go Tennessee 34, Kentucky 17.
All right, yeah, that's pretty close to what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, of course, Tennessee wins this game. I think Tennessee shuts down the run well enough. Actually think this might be a. Well, I don't think this would be an exact reverse of what we went through. I do think this might be a close and competitive game going into half, maybe tied, but Tennessee's slowly going to start to take control. The defense is going to do what they need to do and open up some drives, whether that's through turnovers, forcing Devin Leary to throw picks, and they're going to start to shut down that run and probably do exactly what I said, force Devin Leary into a bad situation. And Tennessee starts to take over the game, kind of like what they did against South Carolina. Vols win this game 30-17, and well, they'll be 6-2 heading on to play Missouri in Columbia #2. So we'll see how that goes. So yep, that's gonna wrap up the show over on our end. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure to give this a like and sub to Squidtard Sports. Make sure you guys check out both of the boys down here, Mr. Lucas Sharp and Julio, over on Twitter. Both these guys are awesome people, and I appreciate them for hopping on in on a Monday night and doing this show for me, or show with me. Y'all are great people.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Yep. I had free time.
All right. Well, of course, well, let's hope that the results go as expected. Tennessee gets a win, gets back in that win column, and hopefully everything by this point will still be in front of us. And of course, a lot of people have given up on this team, said we have nothing to play for, but that couldn't be more true. Every single time Tennessee gets on that field, they got something to play for. So let's go Vols, and let's put the whooping on the coal miners, them Kentucky Wildcats, because we already know we absolutely own them. What are we, like 8 and like we're like 80 and out of like 20 in the last
We're
100.
we're 83, 26, and 9 all time
God, that's
against
even
them.
worse than Vandy.
Okay, so also here's a fun fact: Tennessee's longest win streak is 26 straight years from 1984 to 2000. Well, I guess it'd be 10 or 11. And yeah, I think 1984 to like 2011 when they finally beat us. And then Kentucky, they've won 26 games all time. So Tennessee's longest win streak is 26, and Kentucky's all-time wins is 26.
Yikes, that is rough.
But yeah, man, it doesn't matter how good Kentucky gets, or how bad Tennessee is. We always manage to beat Kentucky.
Yep.
And Kentucky's only had 2 decades where they had a winning record against us, which was the 1910s. The early 1900s, like 1900s to 1910s, and the 50s to 60s, and almost they were barely over 500 in both those decades too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, well, that's going to wrap up the show for tonight. So, again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We had a great show tonight. Looking forward to another big week of Tennessee football. May go live for the game, I don't know. But you guys can be sure to stay tuned for the preview video coming out on Thursday, the hate video on Friday, and then my pick'ems coming out probably tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday, just depending on the situation. So, yeah, until next time, see y'all next time. And as always, power to Tardaria, and of course, more importantly, go Vols, baby. Let's get that win over the coal mine.